Admiral Victoria Chen stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber, surrounded by beings from 100 different worlds. The chamber was massive, built to accommodate species of all sizes and shapes. Above her, holographic displays showed real-time translations in thousands of languages. The air smelled strange, filled with the mixed atmospheres that each species preferred. She kept her back straight and her face calm, even though she knew what was coming. The presentation began. Behind her, a hologram of Earth's first prototype warship materialized in stunning detail. The UESS Defiant hung in the simulated space, rotating slowly so the council members could examine every detail. It was not an impressive sight by galactic standards. The ship measured only 300 meters long, its hull made of titanium alloy and reinforced steel. Chemical rocket thrusters jutted from its rear section. Rows of railgun turrets lined its flanks. A single nuclear reactor powered the entire vessel. War Prince Kelthor of the Zrath Dominion was the first to laugh. He was enormous, standing nearly 3 meters tall with deep crimson skin and 4 powerful arms. His species had conquered 40 star systems through superior military might. When he laughed, it sounded like rocks grinding together. "This is your warship." Kelthor's voice boomed through the translation system. "I have seen cargo haulers with better armament. Where are your plasma cannons? Your gravity disruptors? Your quantum shielding?" Admiral Chen responded in a level voice. "The Defiant uses kinetic projectile weapons and nuclear propulsion. Our technology may seem basic, but it is reliable and effective." This statement caused more laughter throughout the chamber. The Velkari representative, a floating jellyfish-like creature in a containment sphere, pulsed with colors that translated to amusement. "Kinetic weapons? You mean you throw metal at your enemies? How charmingly primitive." The Horthian delegate, an insectoid being with crystalline wings, clicked its mandibles together. "Our ancestors used such methods 10,000 years ago, before we discovered zero-point energy, before we learned to fold space itself into weapons." Kelthor continued his analysis, clearly enjoying himself. "No energy shields at all, just physical armor plating. One sustained plasma burst would melt through that hull in seconds. And chemical propulsion! By the void, you are still burning fuel like savages around a campfire." Admiral Chen let them talk. She had expected this reaction. Every species in the galaxy had progressed along similar technological paths, discovering energy-based weapons and exotic propulsion systems within centuries of achieving spaceflight. Humanity had taken a different approach, but explaining that now would accomplish nothing. The council chairman, an ancient being called a preserver, whose species had maintained galactic peace for millennia, raised one crystalline appendage for silence. "Humanity's application for council membership has been noted. As is tradition, your military capabilities have been assessed. The verdict is clear. Earth's technology is approximately 3,000 years behind current galactic standards." 3,000? Kelthor interjected. "I would say 5,000. Look at their targeting systems. They use electromagnetic waves for detection. Not quantum entanglement, not graviton imaging, simple radio waves bouncing off targets. It is Stone Age methodology in a modern age." Admiral Chen had prepared for this moment her entire life. She had studied every species in the council, learned their languages, understood their cultures. She knew that showing anger or defensiveness would only confirm their low opinions. Instead, she smiled slightly. "The Defiant has passed all safety certifications," she said. "Our request is simple. Allow us to patrol contested border regions. Let us prove ourselves through actions rather than specifications." This suggestion caused murmurs throughout the chamber. Border regions were dangerous, filled with pirates, slavers, and territorial disputes between minor powers. Most council species avoided these areas, considering them beneath their attention. The fact that humanity was volunteering for such assignments was almost as amusing as their primitive technology. Kelthor leaned forward, his 4 arms folded across his massive chest. "I see no harm in this. Let the humans play soldier in the outer darkness. Perhaps they will learn humility when they encounter real threats. Perhaps they will see what actual warships can accomplish and return with proper respect for their betters." The chairman consulted with other council members through channels Admiral Chen could not access. After several minutes, he spoke again. "Humanity's request is granted. The USS Defiant is authorized for patrol duty in sectors 7 through 12. You will respond to distress calls and maintain order as you see fit. Consider this a probationary period. Succeed, and Earth's full council membership will be reconsidered in 5 years. Admiral Chen bowed respectfully. Thank you, Chairman. Humanity will not disappoint. As she turned to leave, Kelthor's voice followed her. One more thing, Admiral. When your little ship is destroyed by the first real threat it encounters, do not come crying to the Council for rescue. We have better things to do than save species who refuse to embrace progress. Admiral Chen stopped but did not turn around. The Defiant will be fine, War Prince. Humanity has survived worse than whatever the border regions contain. She walked out of the chamber with her head high, ignoring the continued laughter echoing behind her. They did not understand. None of them did. They saw primitive technology and assumed primitive thinking. They saw chemical rockets and kinetic weapons and imagined a species stumbling blindly into the stars. They could not have been more wrong. Back on the Defiant, Captain Marcus Webb received Admiral Chen's report with a thin smile. His crew gathered around him on the bridge, listening to the recording of the Council's mockery. When it finished, silence filled the command center. Well, Webb said quietly, they think we are harmless. That is exactly what we wanted. Begin final preparations. Our real work starts now. 6 months had passed since the humiliation at the Council. Captain Marcus Webb sat in the command chair of the Defiant, watching the stars stream past on the main view screen. His ship patrolled the border regions as authorized, responding to distress calls and mapping unknown territories. The crew had settled into their routines, though everyone knew they were waiting for something. Tensions in the galaxy were rising. The first indication of trouble came at 0347 hours ship time. Communications Officer Lieutenant Sarah Park suddenly straightened in her seat, her fingers flying across her console. Captain, I am picking up multiple distress signals. They are coming from Proxima Centauri colony. Webb was instantly alert. Put it through. Static filled the bridge, then a panicked voice broke through. This is Proxima Station. We are under attack. Repeat, under attack. Multiple hostile ships. They are Zrath. They are using plasma weapons and boarding parties. Our shields are failing. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help. They are killing everyone. The transmission ended in a burst of white noise. The bridge fell silent. Proxima Centauri was home to 50,000 human colonists. It was one of Earth's first successful settlements outside the Sol system. And now it was under attack. How many ships? Webb demanded. Park worked her console frantically. I am detecting at least 47 Zrath vessels in the Proxima system. It is a full battle fleet. Captain, our orders are to avoid major confrontations. We are supposed to call for council support in situations like this. Webb stared at the view screen. His jaw tightened. The council is 3 weeks away at best. By then, Proxima will be nothing but wreckage and bodies. Plot a course. Maximum burn. Get us there as fast as this ship can move. His executive officer, Commander James Rodriguez, leaned closer. Captain, we are one ship against a Zrath Armada. The council was right about one thing. We are outgunned by every measure that matters. Noted, Webb said. Helm, execute the course. All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. Alarms blared throughout the Defiant as the crew prepared for combat. In the weapons bay, Master Chief Patricia O'Brien began running checks on every railgun, every missile tube, every backup system. She had served in Earth's Navy for 20 years before joining the space program. She knew what was coming, and she knew their chances. The journey to Proxima took 18 hours at maximum acceleration. During that time, 2 more colonies went dark. New Vancouver stopped transmitting. Eden Prime sent one final message reporting Zrath landing parties massacring civilians. Earth's conventional defense fleet, which had been stationed in the outer territories, engaged the Zrath Armada and was destroyed completely. 23 ships gone in less than an hour. Webb spent those 18 hours studying everything humanity knew about the Zrath. They were a warrior culture, proud and aggressive. They had built their empire through conquest, crushing anyone who resisted. Their ships were technological marvels, equipped with plasma cannons that could vaporize asteroids, energy shields that could deflect nearly any attack, and faster-than-light drives that put human technology to shame. On paper, there was no way the Defiant could survive contact with even one Zrath warship, much less 47. When the Defiant finally dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Proxima system, the devastation was immediately visible. 3 colonies burned on the view screen. Debris from destroyed human ships floated in expanding clouds, and in the center of it all, the Zrath Armada hung like a crimson fist, their ships massive and menacing. "They have detected us," Park announced. "They are hailing us." "Put it through," Webb ordered. War Prince Kelthor's face appeared on the main screen, even larger and more intimidating than Webb remembered from the briefing files. The Zrath commander's forearms gestured dismissively when he recognized the Defiant. "Ah, the primitive ship," Kelthor said, his voice filled with dark amusement. "The toy boat that the Council allowed to play in dangerous waters. Have you come to watch us work, human? Or perhaps you wish to surrender your vessel before we destroy it?" Webb stood, positioning himself directly in front of the view screen. "This is Captain Marcus Webb of the United Earth Stellar ship Defiant. You have attacked human colonies without provocation. You have killed thousands of civilians. Withdraw immediately or face consequences." Kelthor laughed, the sound like an earthquake. "Consequences from you? Your species was mocked by the entire Council for your pathetic technology. Your defense fleet was crushed in minutes. And now you, with your single museum piece of a ship, dare to threaten me? I command 47 warships. Each one could destroy you alone. Together we are unstoppable." Webb's expression did not change. "I am giving you one chance, War Prince. Leave now. Take your ships and go. This is your only warning." The Zrath commander's amusement faded, replaced by cold anger. "You have courage, human. Stupid courage, but courage nonetheless. Very well. I will give you a warrior's death. It is more than your species deserves. Prepare to die." The transmission cut off. Rodriguez turned to Webb. "Captain, he has 47 ships." "We have one." "Our orders were to retreat and call for backup." Webb sat back down in his command chair. His hands gripped the armrests, but his voice remained steady. "Humanity does not kneel, Commander. Not to the Zrath, not to anyone. If we are going to die today, we are going to make them remember us. Helm, take us into the asteroid belt. Weapons, prepare all systems. Communications, begin broadcasting everything we do back to Earth. If we fail, at least they will learn from our mistakes." The Defiant turned toward the massive asteroid field that ringed the Proxima system. Behind them, 47 Zrath warships moved to intercept, confident in their overwhelming superiority. None of them realized they were about to learn a very painful lesson about underestimating humanity. The Defiant plunged into the asteroid field at full speed, its chemical thrusters firing in precise bursts to navigate between tumbling rocks the size of mountains. Behind them, the Zrath Armada followed, their superior technology making the pursuit almost effortless. Their ships weaved through the obstacles with elegant ease, guided by advanced sensors and artificial intelligence systems that calculated trajectories milliseconds before impact. On the bridge of his flagship, War Prince Kelthor watched the human ship flee deeper into the asteroid field. "The fool thinks he can hide among rocks," he said to his tactical officer. "As if our sensors cannot penetrate such simple obstacles. Continue pursuit. I want to destroy them personally." What Kelthor did not understand was that Captain Webb was not hiding. He was hunting. The Defiant suddenly reversed thrust, spinning to face the pursuing Zrath vessels. Every railgun on the ship fired simultaneously. Tungsten slugs, each weighing 50 kilograms, accelerated down magnetic rails to 3% of light speed. They crossed the distance between ships in less than a second. The first Zrath warship never had a chance to react. Its energy shields, designed to disperse plasma bolts and redirect energy weapons, did absolutely nothing against solid metal, traveling at relativistic speeds. The slugs punched through the shields as if they were not there, tore through the hull plating, and continued out the other side. The ship broke apart, its reactor going critical in a blinding explosion. "What?" Kelthor started to say, but two more of his ships died before he could finish the sentence. Railgun rounds ripped through them like paper, destroying engines, breaching command sections, and detonating weapon systems. "Impossible," the Zrath tactical officer shouted. "Our shield should stop anything. How are simple projectiles penetrating our defenses?" Webb allowed himself a small smile. "Because you got too comfortable with energy weapons. Your shields are designed to deflect and absorb energy, but kinetic energy? That is just mass times velocity, and we gave our projectiles a lot of both." The Defiant fired again, this time targeting a cluster of 3 Zrath ships flying in formation. All 3 exploded simultaneously. The human ship then dove behind a massive asteroid, using it for cover while its railguns cooled. Kelthor roared orders. "Recalibrate shields. Adapt to kinetic threats. All ships open fire. Saturate that area with plasma." The Zrath Armada unleashed devastating firepower. Plasma cannons turned nearby asteroids into molten slag. Energy beams carved glowing paths through space. But the Defiant was already moving, using its chemical thrusters to make unpredictable course corrections. The ship ran cold, its reactor output minimized, producing far less heat than the Zrath vessels. Lieutenant Park made a discovery. Captain, their sensors are optimized for detecting energy signatures. High-power reactors, active shields, weapons charging. Our nuclear reactor is barely registering on their scans compared to their own power plants. We are almost invisible to them, Webb nodded. That is the advantage of being primitive, Lieutenant. We do not light up like a Christmas tree. Weapons prepare nuclear missiles, but do not arm the warheads. Master Chief O'Brien looked confused. Sir, unarmed missiles? Trust me, Chief, Webb replied. The Defiant emerged from behind its asteroid cover, launching a salvo of 6 missiles. The Zrath point defense systems tracked them easily, destroying 5 before they could get close. The 6th missile struck an asteroid, its unarmed warhead crumpling against the rock. Kelthor laughed. Their weapons do not even function properly. Their missile failed to detonate. But Webb was not trying to destroy ships with the missiles. He was doing something else entirely. The impact of the missile had altered the asteroid's trajectory. Its nuclear propulsion system, still functioning, pushed the massive rock in a new direction, directly toward 3 Zrath vessels. By the time the Zrath realized what was happening, it was too late. The asteroid, pushed by the missile's engine, slammed into their formation at tremendous speed. 2 ships were crushed instantly. The 3rd was clipped, sending it spinning into another asteroid, which finished it off. He is weaponizing the environment, the Zrath tactical officer said with dawning horror. He is using our own pursuit against us. Webb continued the pattern. Launch missiles not at ships but at asteroids. Use the nuclear engines to steer the rocks into enemy formations. When the Zrath adapted and started destroying asteroids before they could become threats, the Defiant simply launched conventional railgun attacks from different angles. The human ship never stayed in one place for more than 30 seconds. It used every asteroid, every dust cloud, every shadow as cover. The crew worked with desperate precision, knowing that one mistake would mean death. Commander Rodriguez called out updates. We have destroyed 12 enemy vessels, but our railgun barrels are overheating. We need to let them cool or risk permanent damage. Tactical retreat, Webb ordered. Take us deeper into the field. The Defiant accelerated away, conserving ammunition while its weapons cooled. But Webb had been doing more than just fighting. He had been teaching. Communications, have you been broadcasting everything back to Earth? Park nodded. Every second, Captain. They are seeing all of this in real time. Good. Webb pulled up tactical data on his command screen. Now the real battle begins. The Zrath had lost 12 ships, but 35 remained. They had adapted their shields to better handle kinetic threats, though not perfectly. They had spread out their formations to prevent asteroid attacks from catching multiple vessels. They were learning, but so was humanity. Kelthor appeared on the view screen again, his face twisted with rage. You have killed my soldiers. You have destroyed my ships. But you are still just one vessel against my Armada. You cannot win. You cannot even escape. When I catch you, human, I will make your death last for days. Webb looked directly at the Zrath commander. You still do not understand, do you? This was never about winning. It was about learning. Every tactic we used, every weakness we exposed, every mistake you made, all of it has been transmitted back to Earth. You taught us how to fight, you War Prince. And humanity is a very fast learner. He cut the transmission before Kelthor could respond. The Defiant continued deeper into the asteroid field, damaged but functional. Behind them, the Zrath Armada pursued with murderous intent. The crew knew they could not hold out forever. Their ammunition was running low. Their ship was taking damage. The enemy had adapted to their tactics, but they had accomplished their mission. The data had been sent. Earth now knew how to fight the Zrath. The question was whether help would arrive in time, or if the Defiant would become humanity's first sacrifice in an interstellar war. Captain Webb looked at his exhausted crew and made a decision. All hands, this is the captain. We have done our job. If this is where we make our stand, then we make it count. Prepare for final engagement. Let us show the galaxy what humans are made of. The crew responded with determination, preparing for what might be their last battle. But unknown to everyone aboard the Defiant, Earth's response was already in motion, and it would change everything. The Defiant limped through space, trailing atmosphere from a dozen hull breaches. Warning lights flashed across every console on the bridge. The remaining 35 Zrath ships had surrounded the human vessel, holding position at a distance that prevented any tricks with asteroids or sudden railgun attacks. Captain Webb clutched his bleeding arm, where shrapnel from an exploding console had torn through his uniform. Around him, his crew worked frantically to keep basic systems operational. Engineering reported that the main reactor was running at 40% capacity. Weapons were offline. Life support was failing in 3 compartments. They were beaten, and everyone knew it. War Prince Kelthor's face appeared on the view screen, his expression victorious. "It ends here, human. You fought well, I grant you that. You destroyed 12 of my ships, which is 12 more than any expected. But now you are broken. Your weapons are silent. Your ship is dying. Surrender, and I promise you a quick death. Resist, and I will tear your vessel apart piece by piece." Webb wiped blood from his eyes and straightened in his command chair. "Tell me something, War Prince. Did you ever wonder why Earth built only one warship? Why we sent just the Defiant to patrol the border regions?" Kelthor frowned, suspicious of the question. "Because your species is primitive and poor. You could afford nothing better?" "No," Webb said, his voice growing stronger. "Because the Defiant was never meant to be a warship. It was a test platform. Every weapon system, every defense mechanism, every tactic we used, all of it was experimental. We needed to see what worked against galactic military technology. We needed real combat data." The Zrath commander laughed. "So you admit you sent yourself on a suicide mission to gather information? That changes nothing. You are still going to die." "Yes," Webb agreed. "But our death will mean something. Lieutenant Park, show him." The communications officer pressed a series of commands. A data stream appeared on the view screen, showing 18 hours of continuous transmission back to Earth. Every battle maneuver, every weapon firing, every Zrath tactical response had been recorded and sent home in real time. "We were not trying to win," Webb continued. "We were trying to learn. And you were the perfect teacher, War Prince. You showed us exactly how galactic militaries fight. You revealed the limitations of energy shields. You demonstrated the weaknesses in your sensor systems. You even showed us your formation tactics and communication protocols. We recorded everything." Kelthor's amusement vanished, replaced by cold calculation. "It does not matter. By the time your people analyze the data and build new weapons, my empire will have conquered Earth. Your sacrifice was pointless." Webb smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. "Who said anything about building new weapons?" "Lieutenant, how long ago did we send the first transmission?" Park checked her console. 18 hours and 42 minutes, Captain." "And how long does it take for a ship to travel from Earth to Proxima at maximum FTL speed?" "Approximately 18 hours, sir." Webb turned back to the view screen. "You should have paid more attention during the council meeting, War Prince. Admiral Chen told you that humanity would not disappoint. Did you think she was bluffing?" Before Kelthor could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the Zrath fleet. Tactical officers shouted warnings. Ships turned to face a new threat. 200 human warships emerged from faster-than-light travel, surrounding the Zrath Armada in a perfect sphere formation. They were nothing like the Defiant. These vessels were sleek, deadly, and purpose-built for war. Each one incorporated the lessons learned from the past 18 hours of combat. Their hulls were designed to deflect energy weapons. Their railguns were larger, faster, more powerful. They carried swarms of automated drones, each one programmed with the tactical data the Defiant had transmitted. On the bridge of the lead ship, Admiral Victoria Chen sat in her command chair, her expression carved from ice. "This is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Fleet to all Zrath vessels. You have attacked our colonies. You have killed our people. You have made a terrible mistake. Surrender immediately, or we will demonstrate why humanity spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of war on a single planet." Kelthor stared at the display showing 200 human ships. His tactical computer calculated the odds and came back with probabilities that made no sense. "Impossible. You cannot have built this many vessels in 6 months. It is not possible." Admiral Chen's voice was cold. "You are correct, War Prince. We did not build them in 6 months. We built them in 3 years. The Defiant was launched 6 months ago to give us time to gather tactical intelligence, but the fleet has been ready and waiting for much longer. We knew someone would test us eventually. We just did not know who. Thank you for volunteering. On the Defiance Bridge, Commander Rodriguez stared at the view screen in shock. They were ready all along. The council meeting, the mockery, the prototype designation, it was all theater. We were the bait. Webb nodded slowly. Command needed real combat data against Galactic Standard warships. They needed to test our theories about kinetic weapons and cold-running tactics. And they needed the enemy to underestimate us completely. The Defiant accomplished all three objectives. But we almost died, Rodriguez said quietly. Yes, Webb agreed. We volunteered for that risk. Every person on this ship knew what we were signing up for. We were the ones who drew the enemy in and bought time for the real fleet to arrive. I am proud of that. In space, the battle was already decided before it began. The Zrath ships tried to fight, but they were outnumbered, outmaneuvered, and facing an enemy that had studied their every weakness. Human ships attacked in coordinated swarms, never presenting single targets. Railgun fire came from multiple angles simultaneously, overwhelming shields that had been adapted to handle kinetic impacts from one direction. Automated drones swarmed around Zrath vessels like angry insects, their small size making them difficult targets while their shaped charges found weak points in enemy hulls. Nuclear pulse missiles detonated in precise patterns, using electromagnetic pulses to disable Zrath sensors and communications. In less than an hour, 20 Zrath ships were destroyed. 15 more were disabled, their crews either dead or surrendering. The remaining vessels, including Kelthor's flagship, found themselves trapped by overlapping fields of fire, unable to escape or fight back effectively. Admiral Chen's voice cut through the chaos. War Prince Kelthor, your flagship is surrounded. Your fleet is destroyed. You have one final chance. Surrender yourself and your surviving ships or we will destroy you all. For a long moment there was silence. Then Kelthor's image appeared, his forearms hanging in defeat. I surrender. On behalf of the Zrath Dominion, I offer myself as prisoner. Spare my remaining crews. Accepted, Chen said. You will be transported to the fleet flagship. Any resistance will be met with lethal force. The great war prince, who had conquered 40 star systems, was taken into custody without further conflict. His surviving ships were boarded and secured. The battle was over. Admiral Chen opened a private channel to the Defiant. Captain Webb, well done. Bring your ship alongside the flagship. Your crew has earned a rest. Webb looked around his battered bridge at his exhausted, wounded, but triumphant crew. Copy that, Admiral. The Defiant is coming home. 3 weeks later, Admiral Victoria Chen stood once again in the Galactic Council chamber, but this time the atmosphere was completely different. The same beings who had mocked humanity's primitive technology now sat in absolute silence, watching the holographic display that showed the complete destruction of the Zrath Armada. The battle footage played in brutal detail. 47 Zrath warships reduced to 43 destroyed, 4 captured, and 0 escaped. Not a single human vessel lost, though many bore scars of combat. The council members watched railgun rounds punch through energy shields. They saw coordinated drone swarms overwhelm point defense systems. They witnessed human ships using tactics that no galactic military had employed in millennia. Behind Admiral Chen stood War Prince Kelthor in restraints, his forearms bound, his head lowered in shame. In Zrath culture, being captured alive was the ultimate disgrace. His presence here, as a living trophy, sent a message louder than any words could. When the footage ended, the chamber remained silent. The Velkari representative, who had called humanity's weapons charmingly primitive, now pulsed with colors that translated to fear. The Horthian delegates' crystalline wings had stopped their usual subtle movements, frozen in shock. The chairman spoke first, his ancient voice carrying weight. Admiral Chen, the Council owes humanity an apology. We judged your species based on superficial analysis. We failed to understand the deeper implications of your technological choices. We were wrong. Chen inclined her head slightly. The Council's reaction was understandable. In galactic terms, our technology appears primitive. Energy weapons are more efficient. Faster-than-light drives are superior to chemical rockets for most purposes. Force fields are elegant solutions to defense problems. But humanity learned something during our 10,000 years of warfare on Earth. Sometimes the old ways work better than the new ones. She gestured to the holographic display, which now showed a railgun round in slow motion, penetrating a Zrath energy shield. Your shields are magnificent technology, designed to deflect energy-based attacks. But they are optimized for a very specific threat model. Solid projectiles traveling at relativistic speeds occupy a different part of the physics spectrum. Mass times velocity equals force. Very simple, very old, very effective. The council chairman leaned forward. You deliberately misled us. You made us believe you were technologically inferior. No, Chen corrected. We showed you exactly what we had. The Defiant was a real prototype using real human technology. We never lied about our capabilities. The council simply assumed that different meant inferior. That was your mistake, not ours. Kelthor suddenly spoke, his voice bitter. You used us. You sent one ship as bait, knowing we would attack it, knowing we would reveal our tactics while you recorded everything. It was dishonorable. Chen turned to face the captured war prince. You attacked civilian colonies without provocation. You murdered 50,000 innocent people. You came to conquer Earth because you thought we were weak. And now you dare speak to me about honor? Her voice grew colder. Let me tell you about humanity's honor, War Prince. For 10,000 years, we fought ourselves. We perfected every kind of warfare imaginable. Ground combat, naval warfare, aerial dogfights, guerrilla tactics, siege warfare, and eventually space combat. We developed strategies for fighting when outnumbered, outgunned, and out of resources. We learned how to turn every disadvantage into an advantage. We became very, very good at killing. She walked closer to Kelthor, her eyes hard. Then we achieved spaceflight and discovered we were not alone in the universe. We saw species with technology centuries ahead of ours. We could have despaired. We could have given up. Instead, we studied. We analyzed. We identified weaknesses in galactic military doctrine that came from thousands of years of species fighting the same way. Chen turned back to address the entire council. You all progressed along similar technological paths. You all developed energy weapons, force fields, and advanced sensors. Your militaries all think alike because you all faced similar evolutionary challenges. But Earth was different. We never unified under one government until very recently. We fought each other constantly, which meant we had to innovate constantly. While you were perfecting plasma cannons, we were perfecting psychological warfare. While you were building bigger shields, we were learning how to avoid being hit in the first place. The holographic display changed, showing strategic analyses of the battle. The Defiant was not sent to win a battle. It was sent to learn and to teach. Every encounter with the Zrath fleet provided data. How fast do their ships turn? How do they coordinate attacks? What are their blind spots? Captain Webb and his crew risked their lives to answer these questions, and they transmitted every answer back to Earth in real time. She pressed a control, and the display showed the human fleet's formation as it emerged from faster-than-light travel. By the time our main fleet arrived, we knew exactly how to fight the Zrath. We knew their shield frequencies, their sensor limitations, their tactical preferences. We designed our attack to exploit every weakness we had discovered. The battle was over before the first shot was fired. The Horthian delegate finally spoke. You said not a single human ship was lost. That seems impossible against a foe as dangerous as the Zrath. It was not impossible, Chen replied. It was inevitable. We knew everything about them. They knew nothing real about us. We had overwhelming numerical superiority and tactical advantage. The Zrath never had a chance. She paused, letting that sink in. Now, let me be very clear about something. Humanity did not want this war. We came to the stars hoping to find friends, allies, and partners. We volunteered for dangerous patrol duty to prove ourselves worthy of council membership. But when the Zrath attacked our colonies, they forced us to show our true capabilities. The display changed again, now showing Earth's full military capacity. Shipyards in orbit around Luna, Mars, and Earth itself. Production facilities on Europa and Titan. Fleets stationed throughout the Sol system. The numbers were staggering. This is what Earth can field if threatened, Chen said quietly. 2,000 warships with production capacity to build 100 more each month. Armies numbering in the millions. Weapons that range from the conventional to the extremely exotic. We have antimatter bombs, kinetic kill satellites, biological weapons, and things we have not even named yet because we hoped never to use them. The council chamber was deathly silent. But we do not want to use these weapons, Chen continued, her voice softening slightly. We do not want to be conquerors or killers. We want to join the galactic community as equals. We want to trade, explore, and build friendships with other species. The Zrath forced our hand, but we hope this display has taught an important lesson. She turned to face the entire council directly. Humanity is new to the stars, but we are not new to war. We have fought ourselves for so long that we understand conflict in ways that peaceful species cannot. We know every dirty trick, every desperate tactic, every brutal strategy. We have genocided ourselves multiple times throughout history, and somehow survived each time. Consider what we did to the Zrath and ask yourselves this question. Do you want humanity as your friend or as your enemy? The silence stretched for nearly a minute before the chairman spoke. The council votes to grant Earth full membership effective immediately. Furthermore, we wish to discuss military alliance treaties and technology exchange programs. Humanity's tactical knowledge combined with galactic technology could benefit us all. Chen smiled slightly. Earth accepts council membership with gratitude. We look forward to peaceful cooperation with all member species. As for military alliances, we are open to discussions. But understand this. Any agreement we make will include absolute protection for human colonies and citizens. We will never again allow what happened at Proxima Centauri. She gestured to Kelthor. As for the War Prince, Earth proposes that he be returned to the Zrath Dominion with a message. They attacked us once and lost their entire fleet. If they attack again, we will not stop at their military. We will end the Dominion itself. Make them understand that humanity is not prey. The chairman consulted with other council members briefly. Agreed. The War Prince will be returned with your message. The council will also send diplomatic envoys to the Zrath Dominion to ensure they understand the situation clearly. Admiral Chen bowed respectfully. Thank you, Chairman. Earth looks forward to a long and peaceful relationship with the Galactic Council. As she prepared to leave, the Velkari representative spoke up, its colors showing genuine curiosity rather than mockery. Admiral Chen, one final question. Why did you really choose to use primitive technology? Surely you understand that energy weapons and force fields have significant advantages in many situations. Chen paused, considering her answer. Because we learned a long time ago that complexity is a weakness. The more advanced your technology becomes, the more ways it can fail. Energy weapons require enormous power. Force fields need constant calibration. Quantum drives can malfunction. But a kinetic projectile? That is just physics. Point it at your target, accelerate it to high speed, and let momentum do the work. Simple, reliable, and terrifyingly effective. She smiled. Besides, there is something poetic about it. The galaxy uses sophisticated energy weapons that cost fortunes to build and maintain. Humanity throws rocks very, very fast, and somehow the rocks win. That should tell you something about human nature. With that, Admiral Victoria Chen walked out of the council chamber, leaving behind species that would never again make the mistake of underestimating humanity. Years later, the UESS Defiant was placed in the Sol System Museum of Naval History. Its battle-scarred hull preserved for future generations. A plaque was mounted beside it that read, "The ship that taught the galaxy to fear the word human." Remember this vessel not for what it destroyed, but for what it protected. Remember its crew not for their victory, but for their sacrifice. Remember humanity not for our weapons, but for our will to survive. And throughout the galaxy, in military academies of 100 species, human warfare doctrine became required study. The species that had once been mocked for their primitive technology became the teachers of war, respected and feared in equal measure. Earth had taken its place among the stars, not through superior technology, but through superior determination, ingenuity, and the hard-won lessons of 10,000 years of human conflict. The galaxy would never be the same.